What's up, YouTube? I'm back again with another video. This time around, this is the first video I'm making as a 22-year-old. So I turned 22 yesterday, so it's a blessing to be alive, a blessing to, see and experience more life. Very grateful for the situation I'm in, and very, very grateful for the people that God surrounded me with in my life. And I'm just praying to continue to grow and develop and, hopefully reach the potential God has for me. But man, enough about me, enough about that. Really what I want to get into today was this whole idea of just kind of piggyback riding off of what we talked about in the last episode, I guess you could say, or in the last video, about this whole concept of Genius Academy, what it means, and just how you have to not only dream big, but also you have to work towards those dreams for those dreams to come true. Like I said previously, you can't only just chase your dreams. You gotta catch them, and it's gonna take some work, some drive, some consistency, some failures, some ups and downs. But in the end, you will get there. And that kind of brings me to this whole new idea that I want to talk about as well, that kind of correlates, is the first two words of our full brand. Is called Lost Genius Society. So today I really want to just kind of get into this whole idea of what we mean by lost genius and how that kind of connects with this broader theme of the Genius Academy kind of approach we're taking. So everything that we've done so far in the business is a reflection of our personal lives. So when we've been inconsistent, or we've been not producing the best quality work, I feel like that's the same thing that's going on in our lives. So for example, in my personal case, I feel like the moments in our business that we've lacked consistency and we lack organization and we lack structure, the same thing was going on in my personal life with like school, for example, and with my relationships with other people, or just like with my communication with my friends. Like, it's the business and the idea that we're trying to create really reflects what we do in our own lives. And that's why we constantly say the future is now, because the work that you put in right now, it dictates your future. And that future version of yourself that you want to be, you have to be that person right now for you to get to where you want to be, if that makes sense. So in my personal life, when I was, let's just use school for the main example, like if I'm not studying consistently, or if I'm not giving the most attention in class, or if I'm just not organized with my notes, I feel like the same thing is happening. I'm taking those same bad habits into my business life, because it's a correlation between like common kind of skills, I guess you could say, that it's a relation. So like I was kind of saying, the lowest points of our business, I feel like our personal work ethic or our personal habits were at a low. And it's the same thing vice versa. I feel like as of right now, we've got a lot of things really rolling, or a lot of things really moving. If not the most it's ever been in our brand, the most successful time so far has been when we've really been not only dedicated and focused in the business aspect, but also in our personal lives and everything that we're trying to do within ourselves. I kind of touched on it briefly, but that whole idea of self growth is never ending. So the harder you kind of work on yourself, the more results you're gonna see in the things that you like to do, or your hobbies, or the things that you're passionate about, your dreams. So it really all starts within. It starts within, and it's mental as well, because the way that you look at the little things in your life dictates the major things. Even if you don't necessarily see it in the short run, it's like it's long term increments um, of very of the daily habits, of the daily mindsets that you have, and that's real powerful. You can't. It's hard to say you're gonna do something successful, or let me just use me as an example. It's hard for me to say that I'm gonna have a successful business with my friends if I'm not feeling, or if I'm not being successful in my everyday life. And is to be honest with you, I believe is really the small things. Um, so this is a quick little story. So growing up, I didn't like making on my bed. I questioned a lot of things in my life. So I always question, like, why do I need to make up my bed if I'm gonna just get right back in it and it's gonna be the same thing over again? Well, over time, and I mean, I battled this all the way up to high school. I just go bed not made. Um, but I remember in high school that there was this video of this like military sergeant general kind of guy, and he went on this whole like tangent about the power of making your bed, and how it's the first win of the day. And at the time, I kind of just like overlooked it, but I wish back then I would have paid more attention to it, because that is like the kind of core principles or the core foundation of everything I'm trying to be better at right now. You know what I'm saying? Discipline is big. You're always going to need to be disciplined, especially as a young man. You know what I mean? You don't want to distract yourself, or you don't want to be doing things that aren't you don't want to be doing things that don't correlate to like your main goals. If that You don't want to be doing things that don't benefit you as a person, or benefit what you're trying to do in this world. That's why discipline is so important. So I don't remember the video exactly, but I do remember that his biggest point was that this was the first win of the day, and those little wins, they seem small in the moment, but over time they become very major. And like that's kind of just goes back to my point with the business. So in my personal life, I feel like I gotta make, now it's like everything. I gotta get as many wins as I can so I can make sure that I win the day. Because if I can win the day, I can be 1% better. And if you 1% better 365 days in a year, in 1 year, you didn't get 100% better. You got 365% better. So every day it's like you got to get up and you got to chase that 1%. And it's calculated down to the smallest things, like making your bed, like your daily routines, your daily devotion, your meditation, prayers, your habits, your eating habits, your workout habits. You know what I'm saying? Health is wealth. So and you could do this with any factor: your school, your studies, your work life. If you're not taking those small, and for me, I can give you examples. So I gotta make sure, like I gotta wake up at a good time. I gotta go hit my morning runs. I gotta go do my morning routines. I gotta make sure that I'm on time for school. I gotta make sure that I'm on time for work. Because if I'm not on time, I feel like that's a defeat. You know what I mean? There's a version somewhere out in the world that when I didn't make it to work on time, he made it to work on time, and that his day just kept improving. You know what I mean? His day just kept stacking those daily wins. And I mean, you're not going to be perfect every day. You know, it's going to have its own battles, but you want to work to be the best version of yourself as often as possible. So those small wins, those little things, they make a big difference in not only your character and just like kind of the way you see things. Because if you look at things like that in your daily and your personal life, okay, I got to take these small wins. I got to really focus on these little things and doing this right consistently every day, day in and day out, 365. And then when I get to 365, do it all over again for another 365. If you could do that in your personal life, it's just going to correlate to your business, or it's going to correlate to your dreams, or it's going to correlate to whatever you may be passionate about. Because if you're doing those little things right, you have the discipline, you have the self accountability and the self-awareness to understand that it's the little things that gradually make up the bigger picture. And yeah, that's something I really try to focus hard on. I really want to do better at, especially in my life right now, is just making sure that the little things are done correctly, consistently. Because you can't, we have big dreams, we have big goals and things like that, but you also have to be realistic. You can't say you want a Bugatti or a Ferrari, but you don't even go to work on time, or you don't even, maybe that was a bad example. You can't say you want $1 million house, but, or let me put it like this, and don't take this as financial advice, but I feel it's true. You can't say you want $1 million if you can't even balance $100, or if you can't even keep $1,000 in your account. You know what I mean? Like you can't have big goals without realistic expectations as well. Not saying that big goals are bad things or dreams are a bad thing. I'm not saying that at all. But you have to take a realistic approach to how you're going to get that. And if you really just kind of break it down, it starts with you and how you look at yourself in the mirror every morning, and the self accountability that you take to just keep improving. And I don't know what it is or what it's called, but it's probably like a science behind it. But it's definitely a strong relation to the things that you do in your personal life, how you think about things mentally. In your personal life, it affects the world around you and how you approach things, if that makes sense. So I know that was like its own little tangent, but the reason I say that is because this whole idea of a lost genius has kind of helped me discover that aspect in a sense in my life. So let me just start here. What we mean by a lost genius is somebody that knows that they have the potential to do genius things, but they don't know exactly what it is that they can do, or they don't necessarily know exactly what they want to do. So when you have this feeling of so much potential, but you just don't know where to direct that energy, you kind of feel lost, you feel stuck. And I feel like this is very human. I feel like this is very real, especially for people my age, people that are young adults, maybe even people that's just starting college, people in college, you know, the younger generation in the workforce as well. Sometimes sometimes it feels like life forces us into positions that we don't necessarily feel like we want to do, but we have to do it because we don't know of any other option. And the reason I kind of went on that tangent about the correlation between yourself and the business is because one connection that I can make with the brand and my life is that I felt like this at one point. I went to college. Coming out of high school, I was not big time, but I was an athlete at first. And then when I when the college, I wasn't an athlete anymore, and I started off as an architecture major, and then that didn't work out, and then I kind of had to figure out, you know what I mean, like what can I do with my life? What am I doing? You know what I mean? And I feel like this is a very human experience. I feel like this is something that everybody kind of experiences, or maybe not everybody, but a lot of people may experience, especially when you're in school, especially now, because it's a lot going on in the world. We're not living in the same world that was here, that our parents lived in. You know what I mean? Like we're living in different times. So I don't want to necessarily say it's harder that for us to find our way, but I just think that's something that everyone kind of experiences at this time in their life, is just trying to figure out, okay, what am I finna do in my life? You know what I mean? You just kind of get that realization that life is becoming real. You know what I mean? You grow up, but it's so beautiful because you gotta kind of put yourself in that dark place and put yourself in that perspective where, okay, well, for me, for example, I feel like the person I am, I just know that, with God, I can do anything, and there's nothing that can really stop me. But at that time, I needed help with direction, or I needed to make sure that I was taking the right steps, um, to become successful. Because the thing about me, I never had like really, um, specific dreams or specific goals. Everything that I based my goals or my dreams was around just like success, and I just want to help people. I want to change the world. You know what I mean? But I never once in my life just said that I wanna be this in this profession, or I want to be a doctor, or wherever the case may be. It was more so like very broad. Um, it's really, for me, it was based off like success. I want to be successful, and I want to change the world. And I am. But when I told people that the next question would be, how are you going to do it? And I'll always just say, I don't know yet. I'm still figuring it out. And right now, in this point in my life, I feel like I'm at the closest point to figuring that out. You know what I mean? So when we made Lost Genius Society back in 2022, um, this was a point in my life where I just felt like I had a lot of potential stored up. I just didn't know where to direct it. And although I felt that way, instead of being scared, or instead of feeling like I should be afraid, with, of course, with the people that surrounded me and my friends and my business partners, we kind of made the decision to, let's, step foot into like the darkness. Let's kind of embrace that. And I think that's something that we really want to make more like apparent. It's okay to not know. It's okay to not understand, or it's okay to not really have the full plan right now, because that's what the rest of your life is for. That's why you continuously work, and that's why you continuously grow, and develop. That's what development is all about. You know what I mean? Brick by brick. But, and this is just my perspective. We can sit down, and I'm gonna get my business partners on the camera one day, but so they can kind of tell their story too, because it's different from everybody, and then everybody's, that's so beautiful about life. Everybody has their own different perspective, but I feel like the overall bigger picture for everyone that kind of is going through this is the same. But instead of like, backing down or being afraid or intimidated of the unknown, we chose to embrace that. We chose to embrace being lost. It's okay to be lost in life. Sometimes you have to get lost so you can find your way. And that's what the whole kind of lost genius side of things came about. That feeling, that emotion, I guess you can kind of say, just being in that place of feeling like, man, I feel like I could do anything in the world, but what do I want to do, or what can I do, or what should I do? Um, and we could keep getting deeper in the rabbit hole, and it felt like, if I was to put the pictures in or put the words into like a picture, it felt like we were in a maze. It felt like we was in a position where it's like, man, we could be so great, but how we gonna do it? And then um, it's so beautiful, because the coolest thing about Lost Genius Society, and I'm gonna keep saying this, is that we're living in it. So these whole emotions, this whole build up, this whole feeling of just feeling lost, but still feeling like we had a potential to do genius things. Because of that, that's how the business, the LLC, got started. Because instead of running away from it, we jumped in the water. And I just want to be the person to let you know that sometimes, in order to find yourself, or in order to find who you are, or to find what you want to be, or what you want to do in this world, sometimes you have to get lost, just so you can find your way out of that dark path, or that deep water. And that's exactly what we did. We jumped in the water. We had no idea how to make an LLC. We didn't have any idea on the clothing business, fashion industry. We had no idea on how we were going to make revenue, how we were going to make sales, how we were going to do all these things that we're doing now. And not saying that we're there yet, because we're still in this whole kind of predicament, this whole situation. But what I've learned is that you can, when you put yourself in uncomfortable situations, it's almost like you're forcing your mind into that fight or flight mode, that sink or swim mode. And I'm not saying you have to start a business, but if you want to be a chef, go to culinary school. You know what I mean? If you like to cook, go to culinary school. If you like to draw, go to art school. If you wanna play video games, start streaming. Like, jump in the water. See how lost you can get. Because when you put yourself in those predicaments mentally, like I said, it's either you're gonna sink even further, or you're gonna swim. And nobody wants to drown. So it's kind of like a wake up call. You know what I mean? It kind of wakes you up, and it puts you in that headspace where it's like, I know dudes, it might be some girl game, but like, if you play video games, if you losing in Madden, or you losing in 2K, you kind of just chilling, and then the fourth quarter hit, or bro start talking trash, you kind of sit up a little bit. Or it's like when somebody got like the last 3 points in 21, you just be chilling, having fun at first, but when they get to like 18, 19, okay, you start playing defense. You know what I'm saying? You start taking it more seriously. It's the same thing with life. You know what I mean? You gotta put yourself in that position mentally to kind of just feel uncomfortable. You know what I mean? I don't think the only reason why comfortability feels so good is because you know what it feels like to be uncomfortable. And I feel like you can take that and really run with it. Because if you want to live comfortably, if you want to have your own island, if you want to go live in Bali or Jamaica, or, you know what I mean, like, for the rest of your life, I feel like in order for you to do that, it's balance. You know what I mean? You got to put yourself in a very uncomfortable situation so you can get there. So it's not like nothing in this world is given. You got to go get it. So it's like, when you put yourself in that uncomfortable situation, you're going to want to be so comfortable that you're not going to stop until you get there. So if that's like your goal, if you just want to chill the rest of your life, then work hard right now so you could chill later. You know what I mean? Um, like I said, nothing's just gonna be easy or come to you, or it's no real way around it. You know what I mean? You gotta, regardless, it could be with anything. You gotta work for it. You gotta put in the time, the energy, and the effort to get the things you want in this world. But that's the beautiful part about it, is like it's doable. It's just how far are you gonna, you know what I'm saying, dive deep in the water. And I'm not saying with our business we just didn't make any calculated decisions, or you didn't just do it without having a plan or anything like that. You know, it's 4 P's. Shout out my partner Beezy, man. He really put me on this. 4 P's we live by now in our business. Preparation prevents poor performance. And I like to add on a fifth P, and that's just prayer. But that's in parentheses at the end. It's really the 4 P's plus one more, you know what I'm saying? But preparation prevents poor performance. So anything, if you finna dive in the water, it's a difference if you dive in the water naked or if you dive in the water with a scuba set on, you know what I'm saying, with the tank, the oxygen, you know what I'm saying? It's like you could prepare you know what I'm saying, for whatever depths you're trying to go into, and the proper preparation leads to the most success. So it's just, take that in mind as well. Don't just, gamble. Don't just risk, you know what I'm saying? Make calculated risks, strategic risks, strategize, plan out things. Anything that somebody has done before in this world, you could do it too. You might do it another way. It might take more time. It might take more energy, more people, but you can do it as well. So you just kind of got to find what works for you. And that's the beautiful thing that I love about business. There's no business in life is like, it's like the same, damn near on the same vibration, but it's not. Business get cutthroat. Life get cutthroat too though, but it's so beautiful because you can, it's so many ways that you can do business. It's so many ways that you can live. Every business has their own business structure. Everybody in life lives their life their own way. And there's no right or wrong way if it works for you. And that's this whole idea of being a lost genius. You just got to figure out what works for your life, your situation, your perspective, your environment. And then when you kind of get that, you start to build the things, or you put yourself in the environment that you need, or you surround yourself with like-minded individuals that kind of got the same goal as you. Because that's one thing that's so beautiful about our business and even in life, the power of synergy. When you the power of teamwork, the power of collaboration. Lost Genius Society wouldn't be a thing if it wasn't for collaboration. Not only with my closest friends, classmates, and things like that, but even just people that we work or had a conversation with in an Uber, or people that we work with maybe overseas. It's so many like branches of connections and networks and conversations and communication that make up the business into what it is right now. And it's the same correlation you can have in life. You know what I mean? If you're somebody that doesn't feel like they're reaching your full potential, well, let's start asking questions. You know what I mean? Let's take the time and kind of look at things from a new perspective. Let's look at your environment. Let's look at the people you hang out with. Let's look at your daily habits. Are you winning the small battles in your life? What time are you waking up? What time are you going to sleep? Are you doing your homework? Are you going to work on time? It's hard. It's hard for a lot of people maybe to understand, but it's so simple in my eyes. Like, if you don't wake up and just feel like you don't have to necessarily work for something, or if you wake up and you just kind of lay down to the world, it's going to be impossible for you to reach your potential, or to get your goals, or to gain the things that you feel you deserve. life's unfair, but it's unfair for everybody. I feel like regardless of who you are, where you come from, instead of making excuses for ourselves, let's just play the hand we dealt. You know what I mean? That kind of thinking. And let's make something shake. Even if you necessarily don't win every time, you get better. You gain experience. Um, and you learn. So when similar situations arrive, you know how to move correctly. You know how to make a better decision than what you made the last time. Ultimately elevating you more. Ultimately just allowing you to grow a little bit higher. You know what I'm saying? And get closer to your goals and your dreams. But yeah, I know I can go on forever. Y'all have no idea, but we just getting started. Trust me, it's a lot going on up here. But I just really want y'all to just take the time and to understand this whole concept of lost genius, what it means to be a lost genius. I'm still a lost genius. I believe my peers are lost geniuses. And even for the people that know what they want to do, they know what field of work they want to do. They know exactly how they want to go about their life. They got it. They on the ball. They been knew that they want to do this since they was born. Good job. You're not necessarily lost, but you're still a genius. You know what I mean? So embrace that. Embrace your genius. Embrace that you know your true potential and go get it. Be that person you want to be 5, 10 years from now. You know what I mean? I feel like that last kind of piece, maybe we could talk about that in another episode, the society factor, on why it's so big, that it's not just about you. I mean, I guess let's get into it. I mean, the reason why we added society, or the reason why I feel like the society factor is so important in a lost genius society, is just understanding that we all in the same boat. I tell my friends all the time, if God wanted us to be here alone, there wouldn't be 8 billion people in the world. We all are human. You bleed like I bleed. You know what I mean? You have the same capabilities. You have the same you it's hard because the first thing you think about is money, or the color of your skin, or the environment you're in. And yes, I'm not making an excuse for nobody, because at the end of the day, we all human. We all have different goals that we want in our lives, and we all have different reasons on why we want these goals. So regardless of where you at or what you're trying to do, instead of comparing yourself to another person, let's just really focus on you and what you're trying to do, and understand how you can. It's kind of like playing Uno. You know what I mean? If you playing Uno and you worried about everybody else's card without even worrying about your own, you're gonna lose every time. You know what I mean? Instead of trying to figure out how many cards, or how many red cards or how many green cards they may have, if they got any nines, you know what I'm saying? Like, nah, let's just focus right here. Get your deck together. Put your greens right here, put your reds with your reds, you know what I'm saying? And then let's ball. You feel me? It's kind of like, I don't know. I always, regardless of your situation, you can always look at yourself as the underdog. If you are, I'm a real competitive person, so in life, I love the challenge. I love to seek. I love the feeling of feeling underestimated. Because wherever you at, regardless of your situation, regardless of how you look, regardless of who you got around you, you can use those things to your advantage, or you can work with those people and y'all can create something, or y'all can have a force that's more impactful than if you was just by yourself. You see what I mean? Like, use what you got and then make some shape. That's how I perceive the world. Cause every day if you make an excuse for yourself, he say, she say, or this person is here, this person did this, they didn't work hard. Like nah, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's them. That's not you. We got our own individual lives. So let's just really focus on, you know what I'm saying, what we can control. Control the controllable, you know what I mean? And when you really figure out how you can maneuver with the chess pieces you got, you know what I'm saying? Then you can figure it out. You know, that's why at one point in my life I got real heavy in playing chess, because it's a game of life. You know, you get put in so many different scenarios and situations, and it's different every time. And then it's chess is a mental game, and it's really you against you, because you're just reacting to the other colored chess piece. You know what I'm saying? It's not even you necessarily against the opponent. I know the objective is to win, but I like to look at chess like life. It's like I'm gonna move this piece right here. I'm gonna move my rook up. You feel me? But see, in life that could be something like, instead of you calling it the rook, okay, cool. I'm gonna go to class on time every day for the next 6 weeks. And I'm gonna see what happened. Okay, boom, my grades went up. Okay, cool. My grades went up. I'm going to class on time. But then, you know, life's a game of give and take. But dang, my social life, I can't party as much. So they took my night. You know what I'm saying? my night. But that's cool though, because I still got a queen. You feel me? So look, watch how I maneuver. I'm gonna make a schedule. So I'm gonna get all my homework done. I'm gonna get all my homework done by Thursday. So I got Friday and Saturday to go hang out with my friends. So boom, I'm gonna move my queen here. Okay, they move right there. I anticipated that the workload was heavier, but look, watch this. I'm gonna move my bishop right here. Boom, I got your pawn. You know, it's like it's the same kind of way. You just gotta figure out what worked for you. I know that's kind of great. I hope people don't think I'm insane, but like, man, life is so beautiful. Life is gorgeous. But I hope you get my point though. Like, play the hand you dealt. Play with the pieces you got on your team. Adapt and look. This another kind of scenario, or another kind of way you can look at it. And this happens a lot. It go over a lot of people's heads, so just stay with me. But sometimes the game don't even be chess. Sometimes you got to put yourself in a whole nother environment. Sometimes you got to play checkers, or you got to play Uno, or you got to play goldfish. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes you trying to play chess when it's a card game. We dealing cards, and you trying to, you got to understand that sometimes you got to change your environment just so that you can be playing the right game with the right people, with the right things, with the right atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? With the right tools and the right resources. And we live in a crazy world now. It's really no excuses resource wise on what you can do and what you can't do. Because I mean, everybody walk around with computers in their hand. Nowadays, everything is a click of a button away. Matter of fact, you don't even have to type something. You could, hey Siri, you could just talk. But I also want you to understand the power of people. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing stronger than when you put minds together. It's nothing stronger than that. It's even stronger when you put like-minded individuals together, because now y'all are thinking and using your brain power on the same topic or the same kind of vision. And it multiplies. Synergy doesn't multiply with just similar common interests. Like, my 10% of my brain power plus JB 10% brain power plus Jalen 10% brain power don't equal 30%. Nah, it equal like 150. It multiply. It's 10 times 10 times. Y'all gonna carry on. I don't know, man. I'm not good at the math, but y'all see what I'm saying. It increments differently. You know what I mean? And that's kind of a segue back into the conversation about the little things. They don't increment one by one. Nah, that it's +1, +2, +4 is different when you collect them small wins. So it's the same thing when you got them like-minded individuals around you. Yeah, you really start to see how impactful and how powerful it is to collaborate with others, because they're taking their perspectives, their flaws, their expertise, mixed with yours, mixed with this other person's, and y'all all got so many different perspectives and so many different ideas and so many different experiences, where it's like, look, if we put all this together, now we got a symphony. You know what I mean? We have a broad collection. We have, think of it like this. It's kind of like seasoning. You know what I mean? When you season your food, you don't just use 1 or 2 seasonings. Sometimes it depends on what you make. But like, let's say barbecue, you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you gotta add some of the barbecue season. Sometimes you gotta add some sauce. You gotta add some pepper. Sometimes you gotta add the Cajun season. Sometimes you gotta sprinkle some of this, sprinkle some of that. So when you taste it, it's not just surface level. It's not just plain. It's something more developed. It's something more, what's the word? I don't know the word. And that's okay. It's just more unique. It's different. It's powerful, you know? But yeah, I hope my little rants they make sense. You know what I'm saying? But we gonna talk more soon. That's all I got for today. Gang.